You're listening to The Green Flag with your hosts, Lucas Wacker and Kyle Cushman.
We previously did the finish of the year. Now it's time for that singular moment, the thing that really caught your attention in just one split second where you had your breath taken away. And that can be for different reasons. And that's a great thing about this category as well. It's all down to your perspective as a race fan on what you want to see and what maybe shocked you the most, or what surprised you the most, or what you loved the most, essentially, for your moment of the year. So for this one, I can take the reins and go first for this one. For my third place, I'm going to be giving it to Kevin Magnussen getting the pole position at Brazil. A late entry into it, of course, being the penultimate race of the season. I know it was a sprint weekend and everything like that, but for Kevin Magnussen, after what he went through to leave Haas and then come back at the beginning of the year, have such a strong start to the year, and to finish it off in that style was unbelievable. And to see the pure emotion afterwards, I mean, they're all just sitting in the garage area because it's too damn wet to go out there and set a faster lap time. I mean, that is just insane stuff for them to beat the Red Bulls, the Mercedes. I mean, in a dominating season by Red Bull, Haas was able to get a pole position to join the likes of Ferrari and Mercedes that did the same thing, and of course Red Bull. To be that fourth team to get that pole position is nothing short of spectacular. Despite the circumstances with the wet weather, Kevin Magnussen easily gets a nomination for this, and for it to be his first career pole position in F1 too. I mean, I know it didn't quite end up working out. Ended up getting wrecked there in the actual main race on the Sunday and everything, but the moment itself there on the Friday, and that's what that category is, was really, really fun to watch. So Kevin Magnussen gets third place for me for his first pole at Brazil.
Absolutely love that shout. For number 3 for myself, we just talked about it, as a matter of fact. Joseph Newgarden passing Scott McLaughlin on the final lap at Texas Motor Speedway. Again, I talked about it a bit more in the finish of the year, because that's what I had as the finish of the year. But factoring in the speed, the danger, everything like that of IndyCar at ovals, that makes those final lap moments so much more incredible to me. I'm just absolutely transfixed by IndyCar racing on ovals. And we got an absolute all-timer in Newgarden passing McLaughlin. And then after the finish, seeing them in victory lane, embracing and stuff like that. Absolutely one of those finishes early in the year as well, because that was just the second IndyCar race of the season. One of those moments that really grabbed my attention for the IndyCar series this season and made it one of the primary things I watched this year. So Newgarden passing McLaughlin gets the number 3 shout for myself.
Great shout. This next one you're not going to like. I know it.
Here we go.
You're not going to like my second one.
Here we go. What do we have?
My second moment of the year is Kyle Busch leaving JGR to join RCR.
Okay.
I'm going off the track for this. For what I've seen as a race fan.
Okay, we need a specific moment here, though. The press conference, the tweet, what are we going with?
I'll go the press conference.
Okay.
Because that was just like where it was
a
finally
moment.
set in
Otherwise,
stone.
it's just the storyline. So,
yeah,
okay.
I'm going to give it to the press conference. For obvious reasons, everybody who's watched the show knows that I claim to be the biggest Kyle Busch fan, and I will stick by that. What he has done for my life in general, to be somebody that I look up to, and so what he gave to JGR for it to end that way, of course, was very emotional. But RCR is getting a good one. And for him to leave after 15 years of me being a race fan, I'm going to be giving that in the second spot. So excited to see what happens in 2023, a fresh start for him. And definitely an emotional one, but Kyle Busch definitely he got me choked up there in the Uber ride going to work. I remember exactly where I was. It's going to be something that I'll remember for a long time, on where I was for that specific moment. So Kyle Busch leaving JGR and the RCR press conference announcement earns second moment of the year, because it is such a huge moment in the NASCAR Cup Series landscape. Two-time Cup Series champion at that time, the only one. Of course, Logano has now tied him on that. amongst current drivers. To leave a team like that, a powerhouse in the organization, and just the whole entire contract fallout was the thing that I had my eyes glued on basically every day from February till September when the announcement was made. I was kind of consuming me. So Kyle Busch's dismissal at JGR to move into a new place at RCR earns the second place spot for myself.
Good shout. And I considered doing some of those specific ones, the off-track stuff, that kind of thing. But I figured you would have the Kyle Busch moment in there, so I let you take it instead. Right. Number 2 for me is one that I debated for finish of the year, but decided to keep it as moment of the year because of some of the things we discussed in the finish of the year, where I like it being in terms of finish of the year, 2 cars going head to head and have a clean, proper finish between the 2 of them. This one got a little bit messy, but it was incredible at the end of it. And number 2 moment of the year for me is the final lap of the Rolex 24 way back at the beginning of the year in 2022. And everyone was paying attention to the top class, of course, with a lot of different strategy being involved there, teams going back and forth, a lot of passing. It was a great Rolex 24 this year. But the storyline that stole the show was in GTD Pro, where the 2 Porsches were going head to head for the final however many laps. And it all came down to the final chicane. And nobody budged. And they both go sliding through the grass. And it is the Canadian outfit, as a matter of fact, of TGF Motorsports coming through and picking up the win in GTD Pro. An absolutely amazing finish between Matthew Jaminet and Lawrence Vanthoor, 2 guys who are going to be big components of the Porsche program coming up this year, with a lot of different things happening there on both the GTD front and also the LMDH and hypercar classes as well. So with this year being like the end of an era of sorts for sports car racing in both North America and overseas, with the introduction of the LMDH class and hypercars, it going into 2023, this phenomenal Rolex 24 finally, which is a bit funny to say because it led off the season in 2022, but it felt like that final hurrah for this class of cars to say, this is how we're going to go out with the GTD pros having an amazing battle, great stuff at the top of the grid, in the DPIs, pardon me, and phenomenal racing overall. But that specific moment, going into the bus stop chicane, neither car budging, both of them sliding through the grass, and the number 9 TGF Motorsports car coming through the end of it. That's going to get my number 2 moment of the year for me.
Nice shout. Well done. I like going all the way back to January.
Got to go way back.
Way back. I mean, we both know what the moment of the year is, right? I mean, it's got to be. I'd be shocked if it's not yours. The Hail Melon?
No, of course not.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. Don't wind me out. It is your number 1, correct?
No, what are you talking about? It's not. It's the ARCA West Championship race.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
God.
It's not. It's not. Of course it's Ross Chastain.
Why do you do that to me?
Because it is so much fun to wind you up.
Yeah.
What is there to say about it?
I don't even know. Everybody's watched it.
It's arguably the sports moment of the year. How viral it went. How many people outside of the realm of motorsports
it's in nomination
talk about
after what we just saw at the World Cup.
Like,
probably not. But
in terms of the history of the moment, the World Cup gets it. But in terms of the virality and the shock of the moment,
the entire motorsports world, sports world went in
that's
frenzy.
My point. Like, the motorsports world is one thing, but the amount of people outside of motorsports, I don't think there was a moment in sports this year that had more people that don't typically watch that sport talking about that moment than Ross Chastain at Martinsville. I think you can make a damn good case for that.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very strong argument. Sports Center, number 1 moment. Like, I mean, it got picked up by everything. And it was everywhere. And for that to be the penultimate race of the year going into the championship race, like, what the stakes were, what the significance of it was for that he beat Denny Hamlin, his season-long rival, it felt like, where Hamlin was talking smack the whole time. Oh, you better watch. It'll happen when he least expects it or when it matters most or whatever. And for Chastain to just like pass him going to the start finish line too, it's just like icing on the cake. It's chef's kiss. It's every single just last final touch of the puzzle to make it perfect. And I mean, who is to say that is not the moment of the year in motorsports? I don't know how you can not give it to that. If it was a regular season race, yeah, maybe not. But when it's him making the championship for,
if it was a regular season race,
very fair. And the fact that he had the wherewithal to do that move and think that it could maybe work. I mean, imagine if it didn't work, you look like the biggest idiot. Like, what the heck are you thinking? But he had the balls to do it. He had the Hail Melon balls, and props to Ross Chastain because he took the social media world by storm with that move. Oh man, unbelievable. That's just crazy to think about.
There's nothing to say. Like,
even a month later, like
insane.
It's just crazy.
It's nuts. So yeah, easily the moment of the year.
110%. I do want to give an honorable mention.
Okay, here we go. The honorable mentions.
Okay.
What do we
got?
To
the entire meme brigade that was the McLaren contract saga.
Oh my God.
That was unbelievable, and how it carried on for exactly
like Piastri.
Like how everybody made those fake signed templates on Twitter. I mean, it just blew up. Like that could be, your second most viral moment of the year, where everybody was like, "What? Just what? Like, how could you mess this up?" The Piastri stuff, like
twice. They did it twice.
It's.
Oh man,
you can't. It's crazy.
Hey,
to think.
At least they got one of them.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that's an honorable mention for.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Chaos. But moment of the year, 110% goes to none other than Ross Chastain in the Hail Melon at Martinsville.